People are always saying, just play with him. It will help his learning, it will build your bond together, it will get him talking. But sometimes it's quite hard to do in reality. For some children, they're so self-contained, it's hard to be a part of their play. It's kind of tempting to maybe leave him to it. Maybe he's better off on his own. It's hard to keep showing up for play when it feels like your child hardly even notices you're there. But don't lose hope. This is a challenge that lots of parents face. And in this video, I'm going to share 3 things that you can do to be a part of your child's play. There are lots of reasons why children get involved in doing their own thing, and that might make you feel a little bit excluded when you're trying to play with them. Regardless of the particular reason, here are 3 suggestions that are a good starting point in being part of your child's play. Number 1, be available. The most fabulous thing about playing with others is simply being together. And so your playtime with your child is your time to practice. This is a time to put on your scruffy trousers because you're going to be getting right down and trying to be visible and available to your child wherever they are. And we all know children move around a lot in their play, and so you might find yourself kind of following them around. If they turn their back to you, then you need to shift around and move so that you can still see their face. So that when your child does look up from what they're focused on, they think, there's Mum, she's still right there. You're simply available, within eyesight, and curious about what they're doing. Okay, number 2 is say less. As adults, our go-to response in most situations is to say something about it. Whether we want to make a suggestion, pitch in our own ideas, give some advice. Sometimes talk can be an additional mental load for a child if they're intently focusing on the busy work of play. And yes, play is serious and absorbing work for children. So when you say less, you give your child room to think, to focus on what they're doing, to follow through on their idea, and to manage the pace of the play in a way that best suits their stage of development. You might feel that suddenly there is this awkward silence in your play because you're saying less, but often that space, that quiet room can be really helpful to help your child start leading the interaction and involving you, inviting you into their play. But what do you do instead, right? Well, you could try copying what they're doing. So if they're over here playing with their car, you might grab another car and start doing the same thing over here. This shows that you're interested in what they're up to, and it helps you pitch your play at the right level for your child. And number 3, create opportunities. For some children who are very self-contained in their play, it's useful to create a reason for them to communicate with you and involve you in their play. There are lots of ways to create opportunities like this, but for now I'm just going to focus on my top 2. The first of these is to hold back. I bet you're an excellent mind reader. I bet you can tell exactly what your child wants before they even know that they want it. And because you're so tuned into them and keen to help them out, it might be tempting to dive in and sort something out for them before they've had the opportunity to think it through and maybe ask you for some help. So if in doubt, try counting to 5 and maybe just watching what they might do if they need to ask you for something more or a little bit of help or fixing something together. Now this goes back to having those scruffy trousers on, because if you're moving around and you're right available face to face with them, then it will be easier for you to notice when they make these small little invitations or requests for help. So the classic example of this is the train set. Us grown-ups have a really clear idea of how a train set should go and how we want to make a nice magic loop that goes all the way around for the train. But actually the process of exploring the train set is the really valuable learning opportunity for your child. And so when they're struggling to get the pieces into place, hold back and wait. And then they might look at you and ask for help. Secondly, make mistakes. When something's different from usual, we can't help but comment on it. And this is an excellent opportunity for your child to think about how they can comment on something with you. What other mistakes could you make within play? Maybe when you get down that train set box, you forget to take the lid off. And they need to ask for help. Maybe when you give them a train set piece, you only give them one. I need more than one bit of train set. All of these are creating mistakes or reasons for your child to communicate with you and ask for more. But what about you? Have there been times where you've held back and noticed your child communicating a little bit more? I'm sure there's been times where you've made a hilarious mistake and your child has reacted to it in some kind of way. Whatever your experience is, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more videos on how we help our children to learn and improve their communication skills, then just hit the subscribe button and I'll see you soon.